Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alicia Elizabeth and I'm so excited that you've decided to join me here today for another Wealthy Wednesday. Not sure about you, but I woke up feeling wealthy today. If you are a first-time viewer on my channel, I want to encourage you to subscribe if and only if you like what you hear after watching this video all the way through. If you are a returning viewer, aka a subscriber, hey boo hey. To both of you, grab a snack, get comfortable, also get your pen and paper. We have some good things that we need to discuss. We have been discussing Dave Ramsey's complete guide to money. We're officially on week 4, I do believe, which means that time is just a rolling. If you are new to this channel, you can catch all your missed videos below in the description box. There's a link to the playlist. If you have been following along, you know that we are currently in the stage of saving money for our emergency fund. I told you all in my last video that I am working on trying to figure out what the layout of these videos will be, and I'm pretty sure I've narrowed it down. In the beginning, we will always have a check-in. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you saw that I recently posted this emergency fund thing that I made at home, which is kind of like a form of accountability for me. If you have anything like this, you can put a piece of paper on your refrigerator, put it on the door before you leave your house, put it on your bathroom mirror. You don't have to have an actual board. I'm a teacher, so I have stuff like this at home. But this is something for me to remember what my goal is. I have not filled it in yet, but as of today, your girl is at $400. So I will be filling it up to this line. Oh wait, this line. And I'll probably update it every week, but definitely every Wednesday I will have an update for you all. And so that's the check-in for my balance. Of course, trying to be completely transparent about where I am. I'm sharing that information with you all. Next to the check-in, I want to just share thoughts that I've had throughout the week, feelings that I'm experiencing. I am posting on my blog, information below, as well. I haven't done too much posting yet, but I plan to when there's things we can't cover on these videos or just like aha moments that I'm having. So last week I did a $0 budget. If you do not know what that is, essentially it's you taking your income and you are telling every dollar where it needs to go. So I got my checkings account down to 0, meaning I knew where every dollar was going, even my bills that were being like automatically drawn from my account. And I took the remaining balance and kept it in my wallet as cash. And you all, I know they say you spend a lot with your card, but I feel like when I have cash in my wallet, I'm just like, oh, here's a 20, you know, like, oh, can I have a juice? Here's a 20, like just spending money. So that was a really interesting aha moment for me, because when I took the cash out, the first thought I had was I should put this extra cash into my emergency fund. But I wanted to see like where my extra money was going. And so this week it was really just for like groceries, anything that I needed to pay for, I paid for with cash. So I knew that my checkings debit account was already set aside for bills, was not swiping that, and the cash that I had was for miscellaneous things. And so I am, you know, kind of embarrassed to say that I definitely ran through that cash, which, because it was my first time, I'm okay with that, but blah. That's only to say that I still will be doing the $0 budget on a weekly basis or whenever I get paid. And I want to monitor how I spend my cash and really see where my money is going. So I'm still learning that during this month. Remember that money is about behavior. And so while you're saving for your emergency fund, I want you to also brace yourself for behaviors that you didn't know existed or things that you don't really care for about yourself. Like I told you on the last video, I didn't really realize that boredom meant going to the store for me. I mean, I'm not someone who shops a ton, but when I'm in the mood to shop, I can shop. But it's not even like during this quarantine, it hasn't even been like me trying to shop for clothes unless I'm going thrifting. It's really just been me getting out of the house. And because I don't bulk shop for groceries, I'm like, let me go to the grocery store and get me some shrimp, like stuff like that. Like, girl. So on top of getting to the $0 budget, on top of using only cash, I've also decided I want to completely, and I said this in my last video too, eat everything in my refrigerator and in my kitchen and the pantry and stuff like that, because I want to tell myself, like, you have food. The mindset that I'm adopting is more than enough. And I want you to try that with me, is to assess that, you know, you have more than enough. You have clothes in your house that you have not worn yet, outfits that you have not put together. You have hair products that you haven't gone through. You have body lotion and butters that you have not finished. Like, you have more than enough. And though you may not have the foods you want to eat in your refrigerator and in your pantry, should life or death and high water come, you gonna go in there and make you a rice and veggie bowl, and you gonna spruce it up with some chicken nuggets, whatever it is you have. You'll be like, man, I didn't even know this meal existed. But once you focus on trying to do that, you'll stop just buying impulsively. You'll stop allowing your flesh and your emotions to take over and have you make the driving decision. And so these are little things that I'm learning about myself that I want to share with you. If you're experiencing them, or if you may come across those experiences, just know you're not alone in the boat. I'm still trying to get to wealth, but I'm also assessing my relationship with money and my behaviors with money. Okay, so check-in is over. Today's topic is about compound interest. I told you all in the very first video that we are going to walk slowly through this book. And what I am doing on my platform is, as I'm learning, I'm sharing. However, that doesn't mean that you will not have work to do on your own, because I can give you I can read this book to you. But in order for you to get to the place we're trying to get to, you have to do the work. And so today we're talking about compound interest. I'm gonna be completely honest, when I first started reading it, I was like, okay, we'll talk about that later. But the reality is, viewers who are watching this channel may be in different places, and I don't want to hold information from you that may be helpful if you're in this place right now. And I also want to put information that I'm learning out there so that you can start to think long-term and big picture concerning money, right? We're not just saving $1,000 and then yay, we're done. This is like a big puzzle piece, and as I'm reading the book, I'm seeing how intricate the pieces are, and that there's more that we have to do outside of just saving for the emergency fund. And so Dave says that there are 3 reasons why we save money. The first one is the emergency fund. That's to be prepared for things that are going to happen, but we don't know when they're going to happen. The second thing is to make purchases, which I spoke about in the last video, using the sinking fund, right? So you have birthdays coming up, you have school coming up, you have a vacation coming up. We save money for these things. You need a new outfit for a party. We save for that. The sinking fund, which is in the last video, is essentially saying you find out how much what you want to buy is, and you save for it. The third thing is wealth building, okay? So this is where it's a different type of saving. So he starts with, one of the ways that we can build wealth is by compound interest. And I did have to sit down and research this a little bit so that I can break it down so that you can get it. And so basically, let's say you have $1,000. And that's usually the amount. I mean, you can do $500, but usually it's like $1,000. What do you mean, Alicia? We're saving $1,000 with emergency fund. I know. That's for your emergency fund, right? That's one savings. You have the vacation you're going on. That's a different savings account. And now we're trying to do things to save for wealth. So let's say you have $1,000. You're going to put it in an investment, right? Making 10%. And he's literally, when he explained this, he said, in 1 year of this $1,000 sitting in an investment at a 10% rate, you'll make $1,100. Like the next year, your account will be at $1,100, which means you've made $100 in 1 year just for letting that money sit. And then that amount accrues into 1,210 because it's not based on the amount you invested, but instead it's based on the current value of your investment in the following year. So remember, I'm mindful of visual learners. And so I don't know if this is really, really helpful, but let me just show you. I don't think that's going to be super helpful. I should probably do it on the board. But let me finish explaining first. So compound interest basically means you make an investment into one of these investment accounts. They give you a percentage of how much you will make if you leave your money there, right? And so if your percentage was 10%, every year you would make 10% of the amount of your investment. So I'm just saying it again if you're a visual learner. So you go into this bank, you give them $1,000, and they say, okay, we're going to honor 10%. The first year that your money's sitting, you have made $100. So now the amount in your account is $1,000, which you came in with a year ago, plus the $100 you made. And so going into the next year, your investment amount is $1,100. So now you make 10% off of that. And so a year later, it's $1,210. And then in that year, that is your now investment amount, $1,210. And so you make 10% off of that, okay? Remember, this feels like a very slow way to wealth, but we're thinking long term. And so on this page right here, Dave does a great job of explaining how two people go into a bank or they make an investment into, like, they're building compound interest, excuse me, and how one person started out with a certain amount and another guy started a couple years later and he never was able to catch up. So if I remember, I'm going to take a picture of this so that you all can just kind of see it. And so Ben invests $2,000 and within a few years, he's reached 30. Whereas someone else started late with $2,000 and by the end of the time frame, he never catches up. And it's not about catching up. That's not what Dave wants you to talk about or think about, and that's not what I'm promoting. But more than anything, what I want to put out there is that you should just start, because while this guy never catches up with the other guy, they both have money. They both hit over $1 million after a certain amount of time just for allowing that $1,000 to sit. So if that confused you, please comment below. I will do it on a board so that you can understand what I'm saying, okay? But so then I said, okay, where are some places that we can invest to make, like, what are some of the best compound interest rate investments? So I found a website. I will tag it below in my description box that tells us about 7 places that offer the best compound interest investments. The first one is CDCs, that is certificate of deposit. The second one is high interest savings accounts. The third one is rental homes. The fourth one is bonds. The fifth one is stocks. The sixth one is treasury securities. The seventh one is real estate investment trust, okay? So I was about to, research all 7 of these, and I'm like, realistically, I cannot teach you all about all 7 of these in one video. So I will literally, do my research and sprinkle it throughout this series. It may even be the topic until I reach my 1,000, we will see. But for today's video, I did look up certificate of deposit, which was the first one I mentioned, CDCs. So what is a CDC? So if you're following along at this point, I've just named 7 places or 7 things that you can research on your own if you want to, if you're like, you know what, I have 1,000 in the bank. Let me take the time to invest it if it's going to bring me money in a couple years. Rewind it, go listen to the 7 that I mentioned, and then start your research. But I said, okay, what is a certificate of deposit, right? So a certificate of deposit, and I am reading this because I did research, is a type of federally insured savings account, okay? So a CD, what's different about it is we have savings checkings account that we're allowed to pull from. Most times banks give you 6 chances, not chances, but you can go and withdraw from them 6 times before they charge you or something of the sort. With a CD, you are not accessing your money. CDs require investors to keep their money invested for a specific period of time in exchange for a predetermined monthly interest payment. Okay, so this is $1,000 that you will not be allowed to touch. And if you do pull from it, you usually are hit with a charge. So it's no point in doing it. Okay, so I want you to understand what I'm saying. I want to bring this point home. We're saving for an emergency fund. This is not for a vacation, a new furniture, an outfit. It's not a boo birthday coming up. It's not for school uniforms. This is for emergencies. It is an emergency fund that you will pull from when things come up, because things will come up. The second thing we save for is purchases. And I'm going to just say this, is that there's something special coming up this month for me. And I was like, oh my goodness, I get it. I absolutely get it, because in my head, I want to pull from this fund. I want to pull from this fund to pay into what I'm thinking about, but I'm not supposed to. I shouldn't, based on what we're doing. Which means now I have to see my money be spread out if I want to be wealthy and also responsible with my finances. So I'm putting money here, but I should also think, okay, you want to make this big purchase, you have to start chipping some of your money towards that, right? And so the third thing is for wealth, which means if you have an extra $1,000 somewhere already set aside and you're not using it, and you want to see your money make a return, a CD is a good place to look, okay? And so you can't pull from it because you're going to get money back. The original investment is returned in a lump sum, which is referred to as the CD's maturity date. Many CDs have no minimum investment requirement. However, some of them do, of $500, $1,000 or more. So some CDs do not require any minimum. Again, I have not researched this in detail, but I have looked up banks that offer CDs, and I saw PNC, I saw Chase, and what I noticed from a quick glance was that if a bank has a minimum CD, their interest rate seems to be a little higher, which means if you put a certain amount down as a minimum, they're going to give you more based on how much you put down. Whereas the ones that didn't have a minimum, I don't think you got as great of a return. So what does that mean? That means if you want to wait until you reach 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 to invest into a CD, that's your next saving challenge. If you want to take, go to a bank that has no minimum and put 500 down, so be it. Both will build wealth, right? Both require you to put your mind around the fact that this is money you will not be able to touch because it is accruing interest, which you will get the lump sum after it's matured. Okay? So now what, right? So the layout of my channel right now is check-ins, topic, and then now what? What do I do with this video, Alicia? I'm glad you asked. Right now, your to-do list should consist of still saving for your emergency fund. The second thing is you need to be calling your debts and confirming the balances. I said in the last video that I would tell you all my debt amount, but I have not called all of the debt locations. So I don't want to get on here and give you a rounded number. I want to give you the exact number. So I haven't had time to do that. I will get to that this week. Call the debts that you owe. Hey, I just want to check on my balance. I also want to check and see if there's anything that you can do for me. Can I set up a payment plan in August or September? Is there any amount that you can cut off? All that so that you can have an exact amount, and that as you see yourself reaching your emergency fund completion, you know when the next part starts, which is snowballing your debt, right? Number 3, call your local banks and credit unions and ask them about money market accounts and certificate of deposits. Remember that the money market account is for your 3 to 6 month savings. So though you don't have that right now, it's good to start figuring out which location you're going to put that money in and begin calling to speak to different banks to see what they will offer you. So that when you get the 3 to 6 months, you can say, oh, I know that, PNC has the best offer. I'm going to already go there. Or I know that Chase has the best offer. I'm just naming banks off the top of my head. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, whatever. They're not giving me any money for that. And certificate of deposits. You can do 2 certificate of deposits as far as I know. So you can say, I'm going to invest $200 this month and just see what that does at this bank. And then I'm also going to save $1,000, $2,000 and put it in one of these banks and see what happens. Either way, you are officially beginning to build for wealth. I hope that was super helpful. If it wasn't, comment below if you have questions. I may try to do like a pie chart or something, and I'll upload it to my blog. So check that out. The information will be in the description box. Check for the visual notes by Sunday. When you watch this video, check Sunday. Because then I would have done it if I will. Okay? Any questions, anything, let me know. Share this video, share with your friends. Let's build wealth. There's enough of it for all of us. And remember that you're already wealthy. You have more than enough. Okay? I'll see you all next week. Bye.